morning, friends. Welcome back. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, and today I'd like to show you how we're going to take these gift boxes. They're called cake boxes, and they'll be on my website. The link is just below this video. I have a brand new website as of August 2016, and my store on the website does go through Amazon, so if you've got Amazon Prime, all of the same features apply. By the way, you can shop for everything while you're on my website. You don't just need to buy decoupage supplies or what I have listed there. If you've got any questions about the new website, feel free to contact me. Even with feedback, I'd love to help you out. So these boxes, several of them come in a package, and they've got a really slick surface on them. So I put about 5 of these together, and they're too slick to decoupage over, so we really want to add some chalk paint over the top of these. So I'm doing 5 of these at a time, so I painted 5 of these boxes at a time with chalk paint. And by the way, I discovered that these small little roller brushes, if you have them, I'll put them on my website if I can find them. They're not always that easy to find, but they do work much better on these small slippery boxes. When I was done painting these, I put these aside to dry. Now this next step you may want to do if you're having a wedding shower and you'd like to personalize the boxes. I will show you what I did in order to personalize this. I went into my Word Perfect program on my computer, found a pretty font, and wrote the name of the couple, and just did a copy and paste right on down the page and on both sides, so that this way when I printed this out I have a whole page of these. Now if you want to decoupage these onto your surface, make sure you have a laser print. Your home printer is normally an inkjet. By the way, I use the Chopin script. We pronounce it Chopin here in the States, but I know that that's not the correct pronunciation, so the Chopin script 26 is what I used for these. Or if you would like to do a transfer with these, you would need an inkjet printer, you need freezer paper, and I can tell you that this is always so frustrating to me. I think it might be because my printer, every time I take the paper out and put new paper in, it jams, it says not the right paper, blah, blah, blah. So you definitely want to cut your freezer paper to the size of a sheet of copy paper. And the best way to do that is with one of these cutters. If you don't have one of these, I'll also have these listed on my website. And freezer paper has a shiny side and a dull side. Make sure you're printing on that shiny side and make sure it's the same size as your copy paper. I have an older program of WordPerfect, so it will not flip the image, but my printer will, and I had to search around for this option to flip the script horizontally. So I went up to where it gives me the option to select the layout. I already experimented by putting a piece of copy paper in the copier with a pen mark on it and printing this out on regular copy paper. So I knew for me the shiny side needs to go up because that's where my printer is going to print this. So I added the shiny freezer paper in on my printer, shiny side up. You want to be careful not to touch what just got printed out because it's still very wet, so don't touch that, and just cut out what you need. And this will not work with a laser printer. The inkjet print, the ink still stays wet on the surface. So what I did was, this is the napkin I'm using. I flipped this over, placed it down where I wanted it to appear on the napkin, and I pressed it down and just you're actually rubbing the ink onto here. So that's a laser print if you're going to decoupage it, an inkjet print if you're doing this method of transfer. And when you pull it away, here's what you have left. The couple's name is right there in the center of the napkin. Now this is really important because this is an inkjet print. We're going to separate our napkin now, and to prevent our inkjet print from running or smearing, we're going to add this fixative over the top. And once that dries, you want to make sure you work on one section at a time with these boxes. So what I'm going to do is this top section right here, I'm just going to apply decoupage glue. By the way, one of the reasons for adding the chalk paint is because I did do one box, and I'll show you that later, without the chalk paint on it, and the surface was just too slick. It didn't hold the paper well. The ends came away. Make sure you get these ends, by the way. It's really important that the napkin adheres to these ends. So cover the whole surface with this decoupage glue. Place the napkin down. Sorry, I'm out of focus right there. Place the napkin down so that if you were sitting at a table and you went to open the box, it would be facing the exact way that you wanted it to. You just lightly tamp down all of the napkin, then take a piece of saran wrap and stretch it over the tops. And you also want to bunch that up when you're done. This is pressing as many of the wrinkles out as we can here, and it won't stick to the saran wrap. And then bunch the saran wrap up and go around those ends. And then once you've put this aside to dry, we're going to take a nail file. You can use any sander, but I found these nail files to be invaluable when I'm working on these smaller projects. Make sure you file in one direction only. If you go back and forth and saw it, you're going to pull away the work around the edges. So just go in one direction and file away all of these excess edges. And if you've decoupaged over this top edge here, just fold the top down and repeat that same step, filing in one direction to remove that piece right there. And now I want to add parts of that same napkin along the front and the sides and the back of this box. We're not going to worry about the bottom of this, and we're not going to worry about decoupaging the flaps on the side that fold in, because you're not going to see those. So just add your napkin, the prettiest parts of the same napkin, all around the box, and file away any of those loose edges if you need to. And once that's dry, you want to put that aside to dry. I'm now going to add another coat of decoupage glue over the surface of the whole box, everywhere where I've decoupaged. And let these air dry, but it is also okay if you put them in a cold oven. Set the oven to 170 degrees. And just leave these in there for about 5 minutes. Turn the oven off and let these cool off with the oven in there. They'll actually dry within about 10 or 15 minutes. Now once these boxes were dry, I filed all of this inside piece away too. Once all of these boxes were dry, I took them outside and I used the triple thick top coat, spray coat over this. Now this one came out a little bit too wrinkled, and I wanted to add some glitter on top of it anyway. And I'm going to add this glitter while this triple thick is still wet. So I'm spraying the triple thick on here, getting it all over my hands. I should be wearing gloves. And then I am pouring this glitter all over the still wet triple thick, because that will keep the glitter on there. This was a Christmas box that I made. And I did the same thing, only I'm using a very chunky mica. I prefer this to be in smaller chunks. I just happen to have this very large mica. So I put this all over it. It gives it a much more old-fashioned look. Once these have all dried, you may want to go back with a box cutter and just cut this opening out so that you can still close the boxes. Depending on the party, don't forget, you can add, that's the whole idea of this, you can add goodies inside of these. I'm not done decorating this yet, but I just wanted to tell you at this point is when you would want to add. Now this is for a bridal shower, so I'm going to add a whole bunch of Hershey's Kisses inside of here. You may be having a Super Bowl party, a Halloween party, a baby shower, and you can put trinkets inside of here, candies, whatever you think is appropriate for the party you're throwing. And the same rule will apply for whatever you want to put on the outside. Since this is going to be for a wedding, I'm going to add some embellishments on here that make it look like it's for a wedding. I added a little bit of tulle here, some pearls, and a little embellishment, silk flowers to go in the center. And for this one that's got more of a Christmas theme, I used a very old-fashioned ribbon to go on here, along with some holly and ivy. And these other boxes are just to inspire you and give you some ideas of how you may want to embellish these. And by the way, this is the Halloween box that I originally said I did not paint on it with the chalk paint, and I wanted to show you what happened there. Do you see these edges, the napkin pulled away? The box material, it's just too slick. It's actually meant for cake, and it's waterproof, a little bit waterproof. So what I did was I took a paint marker and I went around the edges. The paint marker was almost the identical color of part of the trim in this napkin, and I just went around and colored in all of these white spaces where I missed the paper. Ideally, you don't want to do that, so that's why I really recommend you use the chalk paint before you decoupage over these cake boxes. By the way, when I added these pearls and the silk flower on this box, I used E6000, but you can also use hot glue on here. And that is our project for the week. Here are all of the different boxes that I made. And don't forget, baby showers, wedding showers, Super Bowl parties, or sporting events. I once went to a game night where the hostess handed out little boxes with all kinds of trinkets and gifts in them, just from the dollar store, but it was so much fun. So in the meantime, friends, don't forget, Upcycle with Decoupage is also on Facebook. If you go over and like and follow the page, you'll be notified every week when I put a new video out. Please check out my brand new website, and thank you so much for subscribing. It is a huge help to me. Thank you again for going through my website. You guys, it really helps me to keep making these videos every week. I will see you next week with another video. Thanks again, friends. Bye-bye.